So very good morning to you all, my dear students. So today class we are going to discuss about the questions that come under electric charges and fields. So these problems we are going to start from basic level to depth level. So the questions that can be discussed in different applications will come for need point of view. So let us start from the basic questions that, as we already discussed all the synopsis. So I said to you to go through the synopsis, then we can easily answer the questions what we are going to get here. So let us come to the first question, that is that if a body has positive charge on it, then it means it has. So as we said that there are two types of charges out there. One is positive charge and the one is negative charge. So when a body gets positive charge, when it loses electrons, it gains positive charge. When it gains electrons, it gains negative charge. Means, as you know that there is no transfer of protons, there is transfer of only charges. Will be a body can be charged only when there is transfer of electrons from one body to another body. So here they said that gain some protons, lost some protons, gain some electrons, lost some electrons. So a body is positive charge means what? It loses some electrons. Next question. Sure check for presence of electric charge is. So what is a sure check to the presence of charge? For example, we have to know whether it attracts. So a body can attract any other body if it is charge or neutral charge. Have you get my point? If the body is positive charge or negative charge, it can attract a neutral charge or opposite charge. But both bodies are charged. When we get that, when there is repulsion between these two, we can say that the two bodies are charged. So we can say that repulsive force between two bodies is the sure test for presence of electric charge. Next one. If a solid and hollow conducting sphere have same radius, then. So if two bodies, solid and hollow conducting sphere, have same radius, it means that we know that the charge always lies on the surface of the conductor irrespective of shape of the body. So that is completely depend upon the charge that present on the surface. So both solid and hollow spheres have same radius and both spheres will hold same charge. So the excess charge spread on the outer surface only from their property. So it is independent of shape of the body. Excess charge spread on outer surface only from their property. So we can say that both the spheres hold same maximum charge. Next. When a conducting soap bubble is negatively charged, what happens? So when a soap bubble is negative charge, diagonally there occurs some repulsion. So due to repulsion between diametrically opposite walls, it will expand. So we can say that it expands. Why it is getting expanded? Due to repulsion between diametrically opposite walls. Is it clear? Yes. Next one. This question will say that why repulsion is sure test. Let's see that. There are 5 balls marked from A to E are suspended using separate threads. Pairs B, C, D, E show electrostatic repulsion, while pairs A, B, C, E and A, E show electrostatic attraction. The balls marked A must be. So here what happens? B and C, D and E show electrostatic repulsion, means both charges acquire same charge. Let it is assume that positive, this is negative. Assume that. Now here A and B, C and E, A and E are attracting. So here C and E here having opposite charges, here they are attracting towards, so it should be what? It is attracting towards positive charge as well as attracting towards negative charge. So A should be neutral charge, otherwise this condition is not possible. So we can say that A is uncharged. I got clear? Yes. Next one. So what is the next one? When a plastic rod rubbed with wool is brought near the knob of a negatively charged gold leaf electroscope, the gold leaves will. So what is that? When a plastic rod rubbed with wool is brought near knob of a negatively charged gold leaf electroscope. As we said that wool is rubbed with plastic rod or rubber shoes or any of the other plastic objects, what happens? Wool gets positive charge and plastic rod gets negative charge. So now the wool is having which charge? Positive charge. It is brought near a negative charge gold leaf. What happens? So when a positive charge is brought near a negative charge, it will attract, means the gold leaves will expand. So that expansion we can call it as dilate. So as we said that when we want to see any small object, we will brighten our eyes, means we will dilate our eyes. So in the same way, when wool is brought near a negatively charged gold leaf, so it will expand. So we can say that dilate. Next one, ma. Coulomb's law is analogous to, as we know that, what is Coulomb's law? The force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of magnitude of two charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. And what is Newton's law of gravitation? There exists a force of attraction between two masses, that is, force is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Here between two charges there will be force of attraction or repulsion, but there will be only attractive forces between two masses. So we can say that Coulomb's law is analogous to what? Newton's law of gravitation. What about second law? We know that force acting on a body is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. And law of conservation of energy is nothing but what? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form of energy into another form. Next question. Listen carefully. 2 point charges are there, Q1 and Q2. Exert a force F on each other when kept at a certain distance apart. If the charge on each particle is off and the distance between the two particles is doubled, then the new force between the two particles would be. So what they are saying here, there are two charges. So these two charges having charges Q1 and Q2, assume that they are separated by a distance d. Okay, now what is the force? F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by d square. If you remove the proportional constant, we have to place dielectric constant. Now what they done? The charge on each particle is halved and the distance between the particles is doubled. So F dash is equals to K into Q1 by 2 Q2 by 2, because the charge on each particle is halved, right, and the distance is doubled. So 2d whole square, we can write 4d square. So we can write K Q1 Q2 by 2 2s are 4, 4 4s are 16d square. Now dividing these two, F dash by F is equals to what, ma? K Q1 Q2 by 16d square into reciprocal d square by K Q1 Q2. K Q1 Q2, K Q1 Q2 cancel, d square cancel. If you send F here, what do you get? F by 16. So when the two charges are reduced to half and the distance is doubled, the force decreases by 16 times. Next one. Two equally charged identical small balls kept some fixed distance apart. Exert a repulsive force F on each other. A similar uncharged ball, after touching one of them, is placed at the midpoint of line joining the two charges. Force experienced by the third ball is. So if you read the question clearly once again, we can that two equally charged identical small balls kept some fixed distance apart, and a repulsive force F acts on each other. A similar uncharged ball, after touching one of them, is placed at the midpoint of the line joining the two balls, the force experienced by the third ball. So let us discuss very clearly this one. They said that there are two charges as usual, Q1 and Q2. So they said that equal charges. So we can say that Q1 is equals to Q2 and Q, right? Right. They are separated by distance D. Let us take the points A and B. What they brought? They brought an uncharged particle QC is equals to 0. Now they touch with either A or B. Let us assume that it make contact with A. What happens? At point A, it is charged body. At point C, it is uncharged body. So the charge flows from charged body to uncharged body. QA dash is equals to QC dash is equals to what, ma? Charging by conduction. QA plus QC by 2, nothing but Q by 2. Now, what is the force between these two? Is it right? What is the force between these two? See here. Now the charges becomes how much? As we change the charges, this is Q by 2, this is Q by 2, and this is Q. And from here to here the distance is what? Let us consider distance is R. So this distance is R by 2, this distance is R by 2. Now we have to calculate the force acting on the particle, right? Yes. So what is the force acting on the particle? We should consider F1 and F2. See, between these two there exists some force, right? What is that force? Repulsive force F1. Between these two also exists a force, right? That is F2. Net force is equals to what? Modulus of F1 minus F2. Now what is F1 gonna? The force between these two charges. What is that, ma? F1 is equals to K Q square by 4 by distance R square by 4. 4 cancel. We get K Q square by R square. What about F2? F2 is the force between the charge at C and charge at B. So F2 is equals to K into Q square by 2 by same R square by 4. 4 ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ 2 K Q square by R square. Now what is the net force, ma? F is equals to magnitude of F1 minus F2. F1 is K Q square by R square minus 2 K Q square by R square. If you take magnitude, you get K Q square by R square. When this charge is not brought, what is the force? F is equals to K Q square by R square. So after bringing the charge, making contact, before contact also, we got the same force. We can say that when you brought the charge and make in contact with another charge also, the force remains constant, that is F. Clear? Just check it out once. Okay, next one. Two equal point charges A and B are R distance apart. A third point charge placed on the perpendicular bisector at a distance D from the center will experience as a maximum electrostatic force when. So the question is, there are two charges, equal point charges. So let us take the two equal point charges Q and Q. As the question, according to the question, the distance between them is R. Okay. Now at what point we have to place a charge such that it should experience maximum force? That is the question. So the question is very simple, that at what point we have to place another charge. Assume that one more charge is Q, which is a distance of D, so that it experiences the maximum force. So these two are positive charges, the force is outwards. Assume that this is F1, and these two are also positive charges, the force is F2. The resultant is what? This. we can say that this is theta and this is also theta. Again this is theta. What is the net force ma? F is equals to F1 cos theta plus F2 cos theta. As you seen that these two charges are identical, here also charges are identical. This distance is what? R by 2 and distance is R by 2. Now what is the distance here? D square plus R square by 4. Here also root of D square plus R square by 4. Now both forces are same. F is equals to what? 2F1 cos theta. What is F1 ma? K Q square, Q into Q by distance square ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ D square plus R square by 4. Cos theta. From the adjacent figure, cos theta is equals to what? Adjacent side by hypotenuse. What is the adjacent side? D by root of means D square plus R square by 4 whole power 1 by 2. Now what is F? 2 into KQ square by D square plus R square by 4. Here 1 plus 2, 1 3 by 2 into D. Now this is the force acting on this particle. Now what the question? What is the force? That doesn't ask that. At what distance we have to place that such that it experiences maximum force. So dF by d dash of d is equals to 0. So at maximum force, variation of force is 0. If we differentiate with respect to d, here you get d is equals to r by 2 root 2. So that is the answer for at this distance if you place the object, so the d by r 2 root 2, not root 2. So if you differentiate this one with respect to d n times, we get differentiation. This distance equals what? R by 2 root 2. So that at this distance if you place object, it experiences maximum force. Next one. A charged gold leaf electroscope has its sleeves apart by certain amount, having enclosed air. When the electroscope is subjected to X-rays, then the leaves. When a high energetic beam is incident on a gold leaf which is very sensitive to find the polarity of charges, what happens? They collapse because of the high emission of energetic objects on the leaves. Next one. Two equal positive charges Q are fixed at a comma 0 and minus a comma 0 on the x-axis. An opposite charge minus Q at rest is released from point 0 comma a on the y-axis. The charge minus Q will they said that there are two charges, both are Q. One is placed at minus a comma 0 and the other one is placed at a comma 0. One more particle is placed at 0 comma a. Now what happens? Asking that. So this is negative charge, this is positive charge. What happens? A force acts in opposite direction. This also attracts towards this one. So this is F1, this is F2. Both forces are same. So what is the force? F is equals to, let us assume that this distance is what? X. From here to here A, here to here A. This distance actually A. Okay. Now what happens ma? F is equals to, this is root of a square plus a square. So root 2a. F is equals to what? K Q by 2a square, right? K Q by 2a square into, so this is F, okay, root 2 a whole square. Now this is F1, this is F2, this is resultant, right? As usual, as we discussed in the previous problem, F is equals to, or F resultant is equals to 2F cos theta. Again this theta, what you can write? Cos theta is equals to A by We can say that root 2a. See, now Fr is equals to 2kqa by 2 root 2a cube into a. So the force is directly proportional to displacement. So to execute SHM, the force should be directly proportional to x but in opposite direction. So this is not producing SHM, but it is producing what? Periodic motion. So we can say that it executes oscillatory periodic motion but not SHM. Clear guys? Right. Next one, the most important problem of this chapter, because in this question we can, if you understand this question, you can understand all the problems that come under Coulomb's law. See, 4 charges each equal to plus q are placed at the 4 corners of a square, and a charge q is placed at the center of the square. If the system is in equilibrium, then the value of q should be. Okay, listen carefully. This question is very important. That they said that 4 charges each equal to plus q are placed at 4 corners of a square, and a charge q is placed at the center of the square. If the system is in equilibrium, then the value of q is, let us take a square. So the charges placed along the vertices of a square is q. Let us, the distance between these is what? L. Now later we can present the q. First we will find the force here. This exerts the force. Assume that force is F1. This point also exerts force. This is also repulsive force. This is F2. And this also exerts the force. This is F3. Okay. Now the resultant of F1 and F2 is F1 dash. And F1 dash, F3 are parallel. So we can say that Fr is equals to F1 dash plus F3. What is F1 dash? Root of F1 square plus F2 square plus F3. Now, so this is outwards completely. Now if you place a charge here, Q, what happens? These two are positive charges. So this should be a negative charge and it should be in opposite direction, because if it is also positive direction, both charges will be in same direction. The net force cannot be 0. So this should be a negative charge. Let us prove that it should be negative charge. We assume that the force exerted between these two is what? F4. Okay. Now we should have to calculate F1, F2, F3, F4. See here, F1 between two charges distance is same, as well as F2 also same. We can say that F1 is equals to F2 is equals to K Q square by L square. What about F3? F3 is this one, right? K Q square by distance varies, root 2 L whole square. We can write as K Q square by 2L square. Now we can calculate Fr as root 2F plus F3. So root 2 into KQ square by L square plus KQ square by 2L square. So what is the common? We can take that KQ square by L square. If you take common here, 2 root 2 plus 1 by 2. This is the resultant force of F3. Now what about F4? F4 is equals to K Q by, this distance is what? We can say that root 2 L by 2. So L by root 2 whole square, L square into 2. So we got F4 and we got Fr. So these three, so these two, Fr and F4 should be opposite direction. So we can say that Fr plus F4 should be is equals to 0. What is Fr? KQ square by L square into 2 root 2 plus 1 by 2 is equals to minus of KQQ by L square into 2. 1 Q K L square get cancelled. So what is the remaining? I want Q here. So sorry, Q is equals to what? Minus Q by 4 into 2 root 2 plus 1 by 2. Understood? So to get the charge to be equilibrium, this charge should be in negative, and this charge can be found by using this method. So Q is equals to what? Minus Q by 4 into 2 root 2 plus 1 by 2. We can say that. Sorry, 2 2s are 4, right? Okay. Here minus Q by 4. You have just multiplied, we get 2 to the 4. So minus Q by 4 into 2 root 2 plus 1. So this is the answer. Next one. Which of the following is not true about electric charge? Says to answer this question, we have to know that properties of electric charges. What are the properties of electric charges? Like charges repel, unlike charges. So what they given? Let's see. Charge on our body is always integral multiples of certain charge known as charge of electron. Is it right? Nothing but charge is quantized. Next one, charge is scalar quantity. This is also true, right? Yes. Net charge on unisolated system is always conserved. True. Next, charge can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into charge. So false. Charge can either be converted into energy or energy cannot be converted into charge. So this is the wrong statement we can find here based on properties of charges. So these are the questions that will come based on Coulomb's law. Next question. What is the amount of charge possessed by 1 kg of electrons? Simple. What is the charge of each electron? 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs. Mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. 1 kg of electrons contain how much charge? Let's say that Q is equals to charge of electron 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 by mass of each electron 10 raised to minus 31. That is equals to, if you calculate, you get 1.6 into 10 raised to 11 coulombs. So this is also called as specific charge, charge per mass ratio, or the amount of charge possessed by 1 kg of electron. So this is the question based on specific charge or the mass of amount of charge possessed by 1 kg of electron. That is equal to how much? 1.76 into 10 raised to 11 coulombs. So is it clear, students? If you go through the concepts what we have discussed about charge, we have discussed a lot of applications. In that application, some more we have already discussed and some more we are going to discuss in the next class. So just go through the concepts, then only you can easily understand how a problem can be solved. Otherwise, without practice, we can't get these things.